On this day, Taipei is welcoming a huge army to come to voice for a certain group of people. Since the anti-LGBT party launched a campaign outside Legislative Yuan on November 17th, our society has witnessed a growing opposition between people who hold different opinions on LGBT. Nevertheless, tens of thousands of LGBT advocates decided to step out and speak their voice today, on the World Human Rights Day, December the 10th. Cherish Every Life, Support Marriage Equality concert is to take place on the Kaidagelan Boulevard, Taipei City. To express their support for marriage equality, several celebrities showed up on the spot and conveyed their thoughts via music. And that no more life should be lost in the LGBT community is what they demand for. In addition to celebrities, representatives from various fields would also be present, showing their support for marriage equality.
We are here at the intersection of Zhongshan South Road and Xinyi Road. As you can see, there are more than 20,000 people gathering here and want to tell about their true feeling to President Tsai Ing-wen. Everyone here is calling for love equality. So now we are going to collect some opinions from the people.
I'm a psychologist as well as a psychotherapist. I support marriage equality because this is an early basic human right and everyone has the right to pursue happiness and equality. No matter who he is, where he comes, what his opinion on gender is, and who he is obsessed with. I have seen too many homosexuals suffering from discrimination and opposition from the society or their own families. For the people around me and for those I love, I'm here to back them up.
I think everyone should have the right to marry whoever they want, and I don't think that that's something that even should be up for debate. It should just be a basic right of a citizen of a country. So that's why I'm for same-sex marriage.
I'm a supporter of marriage equality, and also I think that the number of participants today plays a crucial part in determining the position of the legislators. Therefore, we should stand up for ourselves and show them what Taiwanese citizens want.
When it comes to the discussion of such controversial legislation as same-sex marriage, people without thorough understanding of the amendment tend to come across anxiety about negative impact to the society. Doubts about the emergency of passing the amendments also emerged. How can the legislation bring about positive impacts on the gender minority? People here today have some answers to it.
I think for those gay couples who are not planning to get married, they will be guaranteed with the rights they deserve, such as for medical treatment and for the distribution of their property. I think if the policy passes, it will be a top-down rather than a bottom-up policy, which enable all citizens to take the existence of the LGBTQIA people more seriously. I also hope that the education in Taiwan will be improved and take a step towards gender diversity after the passing of the policy.
I consider the basic rights of the weak ones more important than the stability of a society. And as for the harmony of a society, it will not appear if we only imagine it, instead of doing nothing. We have to promote and legalize gay marriage or marriage equality, and then gradually improve it. In addition, I have two ways to deal with gender education. First, it's emphasizing the physical differences between the sexes and the way to respect each other. We also have to pay respect to various genders, their identifications, and the possibility of varied sexual activities. All these have no absolute answer, because everything is possible and respectable. We need to show our love and sympathy to them.
我阿美族啊，怎么样？笑什么？哦，不好意思，不好意思。对，然后就是，我觉得就是他们真的身负了太多社会。
Aboriginal tribes also have expectations on young. They are expected to get married and give birth to babies. Under this circumstance, many gay people are forced to be in a marriage just to cater to tribal leaders' wishes. So I think that it's my duty to stand up for them, to tell the elders that there are gay Aborigines, and this is nothing strange. We are all the same. So, we want to prove through the legalization of same-sex marriage that gay marriage and gay family can be as happy, blissful as all other couples or families.
The education on LGBT is essential and indispensable, and I believe that with the diversity of people, the world will become more wonderful. As for the impact on family upbringing, children will keep an open attitude towards LGBT group and learn to embrace differences. Of course, it will have positive effects on the society. I believe that civil law should not discriminate. Therefore, if both the legalization of same-sex marriage and the amendment of civil law are successfully carried out, the bias against certain groups will gradually fade among the society. Take the racism against African Americans, for example. After the abolishment of racial segregation in the state, the society has become more just, and the false and biased concept would be corrected.
Since the public still have different opinions on whether the amendment would reach genuine equality, whether it should pass, and whether the LGBTQIA rights should be decided by amending civil law, by establishing a special law, or decided by referendum, perhaps the opinions from people who support marriage equality would give us an explanation.
You can see many of them are waving rainbow flag, and they are also holding on the placards that shows their support for civil law rather than the establishment of special law.
The public hearing and the Committee on Judicial and Legal Affairs have both always been live broadcasting, so it apparently is not smuggled. For me, it is a real black box operation that they want to put the policy to inter-party negotiation. The policy will only change the right for the minority, and in a good way, and it would not impact the original concept of the so-called family value.
I think that marriage equality is a really basic and worldwide trend at this time. Most people do not know civil law well. So, for example, if today you're a gay, and if gay people are not allowed to use the same restrooms that straight people do, what would be your feeling about being separated?
The rights and interests of the minority should not be decided by the majority, because the minority also deserve equal rights like every other citizens, despite their limited population, which is why it's unjust to adopt referendum.
The draft that Yomenu proposes, which is the most precise and comprehensive amendment, makes adjustment to only 5 articles, and 2 of them aim at equalizing the legal age for engagement in marriage for both male and female. 1 ensures the equal rights and obligations of both sides of every couple. 1 officially includes same-sex marriage into civil law, and 1 guarantees gay couples' rights to adopt children. And people here today are hoping that the draft can eventually be approved by Judiciary and Organic Laws and Statutes Committee and goes into the second read. State leader Tsai Ing-wen's attitude toward the specific issue has been vague and unclear since early November. But as the president of the country and the head of DPP, her position would be on behalf of the governing party and would certainly affect the society. And it gets more apparent that it is her responsibility to say something.
President Tsai Ing-wen's gay-friendly policies she proposed before the presidential election surely earned her ballots from people who support the particular group. But now she relies too much on public opinions. We are here today to tell her that we want the legalization of same-sex marriage now. We want to let her know that this has been accepted by so many local people so far, and we are showing her we are ready for it.
It is better that she makes her statement again as soon as possible.
She has her political consideration. She tries to avoid anything which loses the support from the majority. It is her most important consideration to politics. We all know that some politicians will take back his or her promise after obtaining the position, like the case of labor law revision in 7 days of recently. It's understandable that maybe our government is under some sort of pressure which urges them to cut the day off. But if the government don't sincerely put their political promises into practice, we, the citizens, would definitely have the right to cast them aside as well. And that's all.
I hope President Tsai can be more courageous to acknowledge what she said and put it into practice.
On the opposite side of these people here today are the conservative force of the country. They are opposed to the legislation because of their religion, insistence on monogamous family value, talks about the gender minority, and so on. Obviously, there are ways for both sides to reconcile, and here are some suggestions.
Many religious groups use their doctrine to explain lots of things. For example, some religions just can't accept homosexuality, or just don't notice the existence of it. I have written a column in United Daily News that those misconception is not from religious doctrine, but some imagination about traditional value. In my opinion, whether the policy were passed or not, gay marriage wouldn't change anything for straight people. That is to say, gay people will be just additional beneficiaries protected by civil law, Section 972. And it wouldn't change the original usages of the terms husband and wife, and will not violate the right of the straight couples. And that's what they should be clear about. It will be an endless vicious cycle if they keep on linking AIDS with homosexuality or having the stereotype that homosexuals are promiscuous. So the point is, they should look to the brighter side of the gay people. And still, there are many people who had a rooted stereotype on us, and it will rely on our consistent efforts to eliminate their negative thoughts. And that's also the reason why we have the concert here today. Thank you.
When it comes to the end of our interviewing session, we caught someone expressing his disapproval of same-sex marriage at an intersection where many people pass by.
The legalization of same-sex marriage will violate family law. The love between gay people should be classified as a different kind of love. Therefore, it should be protected and regulated by a separate law. Today, we are not here to oppose to the demand for same-sex marriage, but to play a conducting role to show the public the correct political direction. Many countries have tried the legalization of same-sex marriage and failed. Therefore, Taiwan does not have to make the same error as they did. We advocate the right standards, and we hope everyone would understand. If love changes frequently, this kind of love can be protected but should not be praised.
Different points of view are accepted in a democratic society, but whichever way it takes, only through reasonable and rational discussion can a society really take a big step ahead.
We hope to become the first Asian country to legalize same-sex marriage and are looking forward to the new phase of Taiwan's democratic progress. It's close to the end of the day, but there are still a lot of people here fighting for their belief, and their passion will never die but flourish more fiercely. Thank you.
This is NCCU News. Ruby, Andrea, Allison, and Jason report.